All right, sports update. Adrian Reid was good.
What's good?
We're back at you with another one. So, big news out the NBA today, man. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. He's out for the season right now, Adrian. So, what does this mean for the Mavs season? Is their season over with?
I mean, Zach Lowe, one of the NBA guys I see on ESPN, he had a perfect tweet that said the Dallas Mavericks are the NBA version of the apocalypse right now, which is everything that can go wrong, it has gone wrong, will go wrong with the Mavs, and it has happened, which is unfortunate. They were already dealing with AD being out and some of these guys being out, with Lively out, Gafford out, Caleb Martin out, PJ Washington out. Kyrie was the saving grace and was having a phenomenal season, man. Over 20 points per game, over 40% from three, one of the best free throw shooters in the league, and just one of the greatest ball handler of all time. It sucks, man. It's a great player. Talk about all the time. The NBA has an injury problem. Seems like all these stars are always hurt, but Kyrie's shown the ability to show leadership this year, and he's maturing as a player, and he's leading his franchise. And it just sucks because now we really won't get to see what him and AD can do together until next 8 to 12 months, because that usually depends on how ACL injury is. But the thing with Kyrie's game is I don't think it's going to kill his career just because his game's not revolved around athleticism and explosion and smoothness, quickness with the ball. I think he's got to get his agility back, but it sucks, especially just the mantra and the culture down in Dallas right now isn't good. I'm telling you right now, if Mark Cuban was still the owner, the Luka trade never happens, and now fans are already pissed. They're going to be pissed off even more because there were a couple days ago I read that they're trying to go up on the season tickets by 8%. Fans are already not happy, so just this new ownership doesn't really get the grasp of that. So it just sucks though, man. I think they need to just shut down Anthony Davis and shut down the team and just let some of these younger guys play and just get focused on ready for next season. There's no sense. What they're gonna do? Make the play in right now? I think they're sitting at 10. They're gonna make the play in and what gets smoked by OKC, the Lakers, or Denver, or Houston, or Memphis, whoever it is. It sucks, man. It wasn't a good day for the NBA.
I'd like them to make it a 9 and have the play in, and then have them, get in and play the Lakers. That'd be funny in a 7 or 5 game series, whatever they play in the beginning. That'd be good TV.
Oh, Lakers.
Let's see. Yeah.
So Reid, speaking of the Lakers are currently 6th seed. They're second in the West on a 6-game winning streak. So do you look at the Lakers as a serious contender as coming out the West?
I mean, I think that they can make some noise for sure. They've shown you, as long as Luka stays healthy and LeBron can stay healthy, he's still playing he's playing at an unbelievable level for age 40. I mean, I think they said his MVP season, he's averaging almost the same stats that he was doing then. So, I mean, if he continues to play great and Luka continues to play great, like, I don't see why they can't, make some noise. I mean, I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do think that they would be able to, if it came down to a take on an OKC, because they're, as you like to say, Raj, OKC is battle tested, but they're still a little wet behind the ears. They're a very young team. Chet hasn't played a lot this year, so I think they could hang with them. I don't think they'd beat OKC in the end because it's really just LeBron and Luka, and I think eventually one of those guys could potentially get hurt in a series, but I still think the Nuggets are a sleeper team. I think, they need to figure out what to do with Westbrook. I think he needs to come off the bench again. He's not playing great as of late. So, I mean, yeah, the Lakers definitely have a chance to make some noise in the West. I mean, they're already, like you said, they've 6-game win streak and they're already in second place. So I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much piggybacking off. They have Luka and LeBron. LeBron's playing at a phenomenal level right now. The Lakers are 18-4 in their last 22 games or so, something like that. So best record in the NBA. I think just Lucas boosted them up and gave LeBron, revitalized them, gave him some energy. I do think they can make some noise. I don't think they can come out the West. I wouldn't be shocked if they made the Western Conference Final just because of Luka and LeBron. But you're asking a lot of LeBron. Continue to play at this high level. I know he's still a superstar level and playing at superstar status, but in the playoffs is going to be even different because you're going to shorten the rotations. You're going to ask guys to play 40 to 45 minutes a game, and all it takes is to have a bad game or Luka to get in foul trouble. And I'm still not sold on Jackson Hayes. All right, playing phenomenal defense right now. Yes, I still don't trust Gabe Vincent, still don't trust Vanderbilt. I know they have Austin Reeves. He's battling a calf injury right now. Rui's battling a knee injury right now. But they're gonna make some noise and they're gonna give some teams trouble. But I don't think they're gonna come out the West, but doing a good job. So, but if you look at the standings right now, the Lakers are currently at the 2 seed right now, but the Nuggets are have the identical record. The Lakers have a better conference record. Memphis is 1 game back. Houston is a game back. So those teams are all separate right a game and a half to 2 games. So seeding's can change from now. We still have like 20 to 25 games left, but I think these Western Conference playoffs are gonna be something to watch, no doubt about it. But I will say, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to. We don't have to go along with it. But I have a conspiracy theory on the NBA and the Los Angeles Lakers. We know the Lakers have kind of been irrelevant guys over the last 10 years, ever since Kobe was hurt. And I know they won the championship in the bubble, but LeBron seen the writing on the wall. And let's face it, how does Dallas only communicate with the Lakers when this Luka trade comes? Dallas could have got 5 or 6 first-round picks for Luka in a haul of players, and he just ends up going to the Los Angeles Lakers. That just tells me that the NBA knows that they want big markets to be relevant. And the Lakers are one of those markets, and the Lakers cannot go without a star. So
I heard a rumor that the Timberwolves were willing to offer Anthony Edwards for them.
yeah, they came and shut that down. I don't. There's no way I think they pull that off. But
Yeah, so the Pistons, they're currently on their West Coast road trip. Beat Utah yesterday, at the Clippers tomorrow. So, Reid, what do you want to continue to see from the Pistons on this West Coast road trip?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going out west going cross country is always tough. I mean, you beat the Clippers once before at home. I mean, you actually kind of smashed them, at the fourth quarter. Powell's probably not going to play again. He's been hurt all year. It depends on what Kawhi's going to do, but I think this team is playing hard enough to where, I mean, granted, the Jazz aren't good. I get it. And they were missing, what's that guy's? Yeah, Markkanen. So, I mean, I get it. There wasn't as much defense, but I mean, that Pistons team, Jalen Duren looked unstoppable. I mean, he hit the rebounding and the dunks and the oopsie he was taking were incredible. His defense was great. So I think if you can, kind of step up, he's going to have a tough test with Zubac. I mean, Zubac's obviously, we know he's a good rebounder and good defender. But I think all around the team is better than the Clippers at this point. So I think that they should be able to beat the Clippers in this game. And I was telling you guys yesterday that the day before, whatever it was, that their schedule isn't incredibly hard coming up. I mean, they have what I say, 24 games at that time left or something like that. I could see them winning 15 of those 24 games. And there's not like incredibly hard opponents. I could see this team winning 40-plus games this year, which would be incredible. So, I mean, with the way the schedule is ending, I know it sounds crazy to say 40 wins, but the way that the schedule is and this team is playing, I could definitely see them winning 40 games. And I just saw today, I was looking it up. Granted, his team is number 1 in the East, but I don't know how Bickerstaff is not the favorite to win Coach of the Year after this Pistons team's done what they've done. He's like plus 700 on FanDuel. He's second favorite. The Atkinson, the guy from Cleveland, is number 1 at like minus 800. It's insane. But I mean, again, the thing I'm looking about it is Bickerstaff inherited the worst team in the NBA, and he's brought them into playoff relevancy. Atkinson inherited the second best team in the East, and they're now the first best team in the East. So it's like a ton more talent. And I just think granted, he is the head coach of the team that I root for, but I think he's done more with less. And he is also the coach that brought up that Cleveland team too, that made that Cleveland team what it was. So I just think that dude needs way more credit than he's getting.
Yeah, I would second that. Also give Trajan Langdon some credit for being patient with them, and he's following. He's doing what he's supposed to do right now. Hopefully, he doesn't pull a Stevie Y and just not make no deals. But we
still got 2 more days.
Yeah, so we'll see. But just give him credit for coming in and kind of calming the storm and being able to identify and find the right guy that fits this team and fits this culture. He's shown the ability to develop and coach young players. They got a great coaching staff around them too. Fred Vincent's helped with Asar Thompson and Ron Holland shoot the ball better. Even everybody else on the team. They got Luke Walton, Jared Jack. Just a great job by JB and what he's been able to do. Like you did say, Jalen Duren is at his best when he's running the floor and K can hit him in transition, especially that pass K last night in transition behind the back, and Jalen Duren just powered him. I know no marking or anything like that. No Tobias, no Beef Stew. So that says a lot about this team. Just being able to will away. They finish this road trip off at the Clippers tomorrow. The Clippers are actually playing tonight against the Suns. So if Kawhi plays, I don't think he plays tomorrow. He's not playing back to back. So you said Norman Powell's out. Then they traveled to Golden State, who's playing well. So that's going to be a tough game. Portland's record's not great, but these last few weeks I've seen them turn it around. Their team's playing hard. They're kind of like the Pistons. I think they're a little more advanced. They don't have the superstar like K, but they have some really good players. Reid's guy, Shaden Sharp's playing well. Dunk of the year. But just what this team doing. I know Reid talked about they need to shoot the ball, the 3-point better as a team, but I think it will come along. Just what they've been able to do is just phenomenal. JB Bickerstaff, like I said, is coach of the year. And before we move on, two teams that are ahead of the Pistons right now, Pacers and the Bucks right now. The Pacers are up 12 at home against the Houston Rockets right now, 83-71. Tyrese Halliburton has 21 and 10 already in the third quarter. And then the Bucks and Hawks are tied right now, 66 apiece. No Kuzma tonight for the Bucks. So those are the two teams that Pistons fans need to be on the lookout as we finish the season. And like you said about the schedule, the Pistons finished their 2-game road trip, and then they have two games next week against Washington, which will be 2 weeks, and then they have a really, really tough game next Saturday night, which I'm planning on going to. That is hosting the best team in the NBA in the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, like I said, it's a manageable schedule. So I just love what I see from this team, and Cade has, like we talked about, elevated this team and become a national superstar. And I could tell too because now they're finally starting to get some public attention and some notoriety, which is well deserved.
That OKC Pistons game, it should be nationally televised.
And it's a Saturday.
That should be
ABC.
flexed and nationally televised for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have the Trailblazers, which I think should be a win. 2 Wizards games. OKC's in the middle there. Then you play the Pelicans, the Heat, the Mavs, who are now fully depleted. The Pelicans again, the Spurs, who are depleted. The Cavs, which will be tough, and then you end with the Timberwolves. That's your last game in March. So it's tough in March, but you have a few easy ones in there that I think you could win. And then it goes Thunder again on the 2nd, and then it's Raptors, Grizzlies, Kings, Knicks, Bucks.
Okay, so maybe a 5th seed potentially.
Mm-hmm. No games against the Pacers. They finished the season with a home with the Bucks. So
I mean, I said 40 games. They just need to win 5 games of those next 20 plus games, and that's 40 wins. And I think they can win. I said 12 to 15. I think they can win of the next 24 that they're playing.
Oh, easily.
So there'll be a 45. I think they could win 45 games this season. If I was betting today and somebody said over under 45 and a half games on the season, I would put 44 and a half. I'd put it at the over. I'd put it at 45.
To put this in perspective, with the record they have right now, if they were in the Western Conference, they would still be the 6th seed. So that just tells you the progression.
See, that's crazy. I mean, the West is so much more advanced than the East in terms of talent and teams. Like, that's crazy to think about that they would still be 6th in the West. I like that.
All right, some of the feedback here. DC says, should Cade be in the MVP discussion?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's averaging 26, 6 and 10 almost, 26, 7 and 10.
25, 9, averaging 25.3, 9.4, 6.1 rebounds.
Okay,
he's cut the turnovers down.
Yeah, he's cut the turnovers down. He's leading his team to a playoff berth the first time since 2019. Would he win it? No, because you have SGA leading OKC, he's the favorite right now in MVP.
Jokic is second, I believe.
Yeah, Jokic is plus 600, I think, the last I saw, and then SGA is minus 500. Which, again, I've discredited SGA for kind of just being a free throw merchant for the most part. I still think Joker is just the best player in the NBA, and I get it. He's SGA's number one seed in the West, but he's got a really strong team around him. I don't think Joker has an incredibly strong team around him. They have a lot of chemistry, but they're just and they're not the best players. But SGA is definitely a very good player. I will give him credit for that. I'm not taking that away from him. I just don't think he's MVP worthy.
SGA is minus 650. Jokic is plus 500. Tatum is plus 30,000. Giannis is plus 30,000. LeBron is plus 50,000. So clearly, they believe it's a huge gap between SGA, Jokic, and then everybody else is no shot.
Interesting. All right, shout out Jaleel for the $10 donation. Appreciate you, Jaleel.
Thank you, Jaleel.
All right.
You're at minus 190.
So I just want to bring this up really quickly, and we can move on from it. But the free throw attempts per game leader is Giannis with 10.4, and the next is Shea is SGA. Jokic is at 10 with 6, and Cade is at 22. He's averaging 5 now. He was at 4 not too long ago. So now they're finally giving him a whistle a little bit. But like I've said before, SGA, everybody always brings up the argument, yeah, well, SGA leads the league and drives to the basket. Well, Cade's second, and he's averaging almost, 3, 4 free throw attempts less than SGA is. So, I mean, if you equate that into it, then you're probably adding another 5 points average onto Cade's. He's probably averaging 29 to 30 points if he's getting, 9 free throws a game attempted.
Yeah, I think this stretch run that they're about to go on, I think Cade, he's going to have him on notice. He's going to force them to pretty much put him in and get some MVP notoriety. Obviously he's not going to get the top 3, but he'll get some notoriety for sure.
Boys, if you think about that, so again, it sounds like I'm crapping on SGA. I think he's a great player, but if you give the 9, so let's say he's averaging 9 free throws a game. If you're averaging 9 free throws a game, and you make each one of those 2 that you shoot, that's 18 points you get extra per game. Let's say you're only shooting 80% of that. That's still 16 points extra you're getting per game.
Yeah.
Over a lot of other players that aren't getting that. But again, if he wins MVP, it happens all the time. I mean, guys win MVP, they deserve it. I just think Jokic is the best player in the league and has been. I just think voter fatigue really has hit him with they don't want to keep giving him MVPs.
Yeah.
Just fine. It happens in every sport. It happened to Tom Brady. It happened to LeBron.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if another American guy can win the MVP here soon. It's been the foreign guys as of late. All right, so Adrian, the NFL Combine wrapped up this past weekend. So who are your winners and losers from this past weekend's Combine?
Well, obviously, hometown guy Malik Harrison out of West Bloomfield. He ran the fastest time at the Combine of 4.28, 5'11", about a 185. I think he's gonna boost his stock extremely well. Another guy I'm a big fan of, Reid knows this, my boy Amarian Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. This running back class is super, super deep, man. My Steelers are probably gonna need a running back. Najee Harris, they're saying $8 to $10 million. It's gonna get on the open market, and the Steelers are gonna be unwilling to pay that. So, and then another guy, and I'm gonna say it to you guys now, Matthew Golden runs a 4.3 flat. Like I talked about it before, it's probably going to boost him up, but Steelers picking at 21. Emeka Ibuka, Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, or Tyrell McMillan. If one of those 4 guys are on the board and the Steelers do not draft them, I am literally going to lose it. So this is not going to be pretty. But those are a couple of my winners. I actually think Jackson Dart had a really good combine. Maybe take him in the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't believe this hype about taking him in the 1st round. But those some of the guys I like.
Yeah, I actually have a theory that McMillan is going to drop in this draft now. I don't think he's going to go as high. Another guy, Adrian said a lot of the guys. Matthew Golden obviously showed how he could be effective. It's crazy these Texas wide receivers are. You had Xavier Worthy, now you have Golden. Isaiah Bond can be good. I think a guy that the Steelers could potentially even get in the 2nd round. Luther Burden dropped a lot. I think he was not a loser per se. I just think that he didn't have the greatest combine. People keep talking about his attitude, but I think a guy who really won it was James Pierce. Granted, he was going to go high already, but he had a great combine. He ran the fastest 40 of the DNs, and basically he ran a 4.47, so he was up there. There's I'll say the every single running back that literally performed in the combine, I think, boosted their stock. I think that, I mean, Ollie Gordon obviously dropped a little bit, but they said this is the fastest running back class since 2003. So, I mean, that's pretty good company to be a part of. I think Jackson Dart actually raised himself into the first round on this combine. I think he's going to raise himself, or he raised himself into high in the second round or low, however you're looking at it. But he raised himself early in the second round. I think his pro day will push him even higher into the first round. I think he threw well. I think he looked like the best quarterback throwing the ball in the combine. That kid out of Louisville, the quarterback, he looked good. He's just old, 26 or something like that. So he spent 7 years in college, which I don't know how people can still do that. There's a guy I'm looking for. Sorry, I was waffling there. Darian Porter. He's a cornerback out of Iowa State. Big, 2-1, and he's a
6-year guy. 6-year guy. He only played really 1 year at corner. So
yeah, he was.
You can teach that up.
He was a wide receiver 4. He's a bigger guy, but he ran a 4.3. I think he'd be pretty good. And then the cornerback, Hairston out of Kentucky. Maxwell Hairston. I think he's going to be another guy that's going to rise up a few draft boards because of he's another guy who can just mirror really well, and he looked good at the combine. So those are a few of the winners. Losers, as far as it go, I think a lot of the quarterbacks didn't help themselves personally. It's so tough because a lot of these big names you just think would come around and do something, but they don't do anything most of the time. So like your Mason Grahams, your Kenneth Grants are both guys I like, but they just don't do anything. Joshua Farmer from Florida State's, I think it was a riser.
Yep, it's your boy.
Yeah. There's not really a whole lot of losers. Wide receivers, I think Luther Burton really didn't help himself out. I think Isaiah Bond dropped a little bit, especially with him talking about he was going to run the fastest 40. Yeah, a lot of the wide receivers I think just didn't help themselves, to be honest with you.
What you think of Will Howard?
He's a faller. He's a guy that I don't think helped himself. Shadur Sanders came out and defended him, which I think is nice to do. He is a national champion. He did help lead that team to the national championship, but he just, I get throwing that aren't your guys, throwing to people that aren't your guys is hard. So he didn't look great doing that. Maybe his pro day will help him build himself up a little bit, but fourth, fifth round now after what I saw in the combine, I didn't think he looked great, honestly. If he has a good combine, maybe he can get up to early in the fourth round, but I don't think he's going higher than the fourth round anymore. He could have probably been early third rounder if he performed well in the combine in his pro day, but I think he really hurt himself with his combine performance. He didn't look great. Throwing balls high, throwing them outstretched on guys, throwing them out of bounds when they were doing the corner drills. So I don't know. Jackson Dart, again, I know Adrian said that he, second round, but he was throwing just into buckets when he was doing deep balls. He had perfect throws into buckets and the deep balls. So I think there was people saying that the Raiders will take him in the second round, which if they do, I think that's the biggest steal of the draft.
Yeah, sure. A guy I really like before we move on is a guy, I think he's going to second round. I think this is a guy that Steelers can absolutely get. Caden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State, 6'4", ran a 4.47 at the combine.
Yeah, I like him.
39 inch vertical. A guy I'm really huge on. So if they don't go wide receiver at that point, I would definitely take him. So I think receiver is a must need. But I think everybody did get. With the Will Howard thing, I'm not really surprised. He didn't move down for me because I wasn't as high as him as some people was after the national championship season. I think he's a solid guy. He could maybe eventually be a back end starter, low end starter, but it didn't really move the needle for me on that one.
A guy, and I'll give you my last guy too, who's another wide receiver, and I think that he had a really good game against Travis Hunter. I think that's his legacy game, and it's the guy out of Stanford, Ayomanor, or however, I don't know how you say his last name.
Yeah, it's a weird name. He's Canadian, so. Yeah,
he's out of Stanford. He's 6'2", 206, 33-inch wingspan, arm, and a 10-inch hand, so big hands. He scored an 80 on his RAS score, which is 17th amongst wide receivers. His total score was 10th amongst wide receivers. He ran a 4.44. He had a 38.5 vertical and a 10.7 broad jump. So I think he's a guy that, if you need, he's a guy that I honestly would. I don't think he's going to be there, but if the Lions can pick him in like the 4th round, I think that'd be great because he could be like your safety blanket. But a team that needs a guy who can go downfield or a guy who can go up to the next level, I think he's a guy that people would really be interested to have on his team. He'd be good on like the Texans. I think he'd be really good there. I think he'd be good. Green Bay needs wide receivers, but they're talking about trading for DK. So maybe Seattle could draft him if they lose DK. He could kind of replace DK for that role. But that's a guy that I'm gonna be looking for in drafts.
For sure. But yeah, we got a lot of pro days coming up. So
yeah,
we'll finally get to see Cam and Shador and some of these guys a lot of guys we didn't see at the draft. So all right. So also from the draft, Adrian, a reporter asked Travis Hunter, was it harder for him to play both sides of the ball in football, or was it harder for Shohei Ohtani to play pitcher and hit in the Major League Baseball? So which one do you feel as though is harder? Is it harder to do in football or baseball?
I'm the biggest football fan in the world, but I'm going to tell you right now, hitting the baseball is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports, especially at a high level like that. I think what Ohtani's doing is a lot harder than what Travis Hunter is doing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Travis Hunter I get why people are agreeing or taking his side because it is a very he's doing a lot of cardio. He's running a lot and he's obviously guarding someone. Wide receiver, I don't think is as hard as corner. Obviously, you know your route. You're doing your post. You're doing whatever your route is. So I don't think wide receivers is hard. But when you talk about like Adrian just said, I mean, Ohtani didn't pitch last year, but he's pitched previously, like when he was with the Angels, and he's talking about pitching next year. When you have somebody who you have to go up and it's 0.4 seconds, 0.4 seconds to decide from the pitcher's mound to the time the ball gets to the plate if you're going to hit the ball, if you're going to swing at the ball. And that's how fast it is for you to get there, or for the ball to get to the plate. If it's a fastball, it's traveling between 90 and 99 miles an hour. So to realize if it's a fastball or if it's a changeup or if it's an off speed or whatever the pitch is to decide whether you're going to hit it, I think is a lot harder than anticipating a wide receiver's movement off the line or anticipating, shifting your hips for when they need to move. Then when it comes to pitching, you also have to have the control of I don't know if you guys have done it recently. I played baseball when I was in high school, but I haven't thrown a ball fast in a while. I did it when the Tigers were in the playoffs. When I was working, they had a pitch machine. I threw a ball and I threw it 40 miles an hour with everything that I gave it. I did not throw it fast at all, mind you. It is a very humbling experience to go in front of a pitch machine and pitch a ball. Now imagine you are a Shohei Ohtani and you go up to bat. Now you have to go and you have to pitch potentially, you have to throw 40, 50, 60 pitches that are anywhere from 80 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour. So you have all that on top of it. Then you need to go up and bat, and that's going to, affect your arm with your swing. So there's a lot that goes into it that people who see football as a very physical sport, they just don't realize the physicality of baseball as well. It's just not the same type of physicality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then Ohtani, he's not just hitting; he's hitting at a very high level. He won the NL MVP last year.
Yeah.
He hit almost 50 home. Was it close to 50 or did he get 50?
Yeah, he hit 40. He hit 43 home runs or something last year.
Yeah, so he's doing it on both sides at a very high level. It's not like he's just doing it to do it. He's the best player. He's the best player doing it.
Didn't he do 50 home runs and 50 steals and whatever? But even that too. Look at that. Ohtani gets on base and then he still steals the base 50 times too, which is crazy to think. Also, so that's even more credit to him. And like you said, Raaj, he won an MVP last year.
Yeah. So yeah, he's doing it at a super high level for sure. Until an NFL player wins the award on both sides or one side doing it that way, then yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Ohtani on that one.
Great. If Ohtani didn't have to get Tommy John surgery when he was with the Angels and he came to the Dodgers and he was able to pitch fully healthy and bat fully healthy, you potentially could have seen the first person to ever win the MVP and the Cy Young in that division. Because he probably could have done that. the way that pitching staff was set up. I don't think that's ever been done before because I don't think they even had that award when Babe Ruth played, but I could be wrong. I don't know when Cy Young played and when the award became a thing.
Yeah, I believe Ohtani's starting to pitch this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be taking a few.
I gotta take this real quick. Sorry for this. Give me 1 sec.
You're good. I think he's supposed to be. Doing a few games. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. I don't know what their plan is for that. I have to look more into it or talk to my buddy who's a Dodgers fan. But yeah, if he does it again this year after getting Tommy John's, which some people say you look at Verlander, he got it and he came back better. People say you come back better from Tommy John, so that could be scary.
He got Tommy John this past season.
The end. It was like the end of 2 seasons ago, and then he got traded to the Dodgers. So he got it when he was on the Angels. So 2 seasons ago, but it was like the end of it, and then he got traded to the Dodgers, and then that's why he didn't pitch last year, and he only hit.
Okay, so yeah, I want to see what Ohtani does this season for sure.
And people, we're not discrediting Travis Hunter. What he did in college was impressive. But hitting a baseball and pitching a baseball is very, very hard. Like I said, go out into your backyard and try and throw a baseball as hard as you can, or try and find a speed gun and throw it in front of that. Get humble like I did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not saying he can't do it. We're just saying he's done it at a high level in high school, playing both sides of the ball, and in college at a high level. But doing it at the professional level is a different story. Am I doubting him? No. But if he can do it, shout out to him. But it's going to be a tough thing to do. It's already hard to master one side of the football and be elite, especially with the wear and tear that football does to you. So it's just
like I said, I think if Travis Hunter, if you're looking at it money wise, you probably want to go in as a wide receiver. What team's going to draft you as a wide receiver that high? I don't think a lot of teams would. Like I think if the Patriots take him at 4, they would want to partner him with Christian Gonzalez as a corner. But if you're a corner and then you have a team like I think Mike Vrabel would be smart in doing it, you could put together like a package to put Travis Hunter in at wide receiver, but you're not going to do it every single play. Like let's say it's 2nd and 7. You'll have a play put down to like maybe get Travis Hunter the ball or maybe make him a decoy at wide receiver. They'll do that in the NFL, but they're not going to say, hey, Travis, go out here, protect the field, for this set of downs against Patrick Mahomes, and then come out and then we'll have you play wide receiver and go up against whoever the cornerback is at Kansas City. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
But think about how hard it is in the NFL. It's a completely tougher year. You spend a whole week focusing on a game plan for a team. Now he thinks he's going to be able to go in and game plan defensively, playing corner full time against. Let's just say they're playing Cincinnati Bengals. You're going to guard Jamar Chase for 60 plays a game, and then you're going to go play 60 plays on offense. That's
not even Jamar Chase. Now they franchise tag T Higgins. Let's say Christian Gonzalez goes to Jamar Chase. You still have to guard T Higgins for whatever. Or you go to let's say the Lions are playing the Patriots next year. I'm using the Patriots because, again, they're 4. He's been mocked there a lot. Let's say the Lions play the Patriots next year. You're going to come out and you're going to guard – you're going to go up against, Terran Arnold or whoever they sign as a vet as a wide receiver, because he'd probably be wide receiver 1 if they drafted them that way on the Patriots because they stink. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to guard St. Brown or Jamison Williams. No, that's not going to happen. Yeah, especially if you have to guard Jamison Williams because he's just going to burn you because you're going to be so gassed from playing wide receiver for – however many downs you just had to play it. I don't discredit the kid for doing it. He's an amazing athlete. I've seen him. My nephew talks about him all the time because he goes to CU Boulder. I just don't think you can do it at the NFL level of switching that much. It's way too much. Charles Woodson was a great athlete, and I'm not saying like if he couldn't do it, I don't think anybody is going to be able to do it. Especially if Travis Hunter can't do it, I don't think anybody's going to be able to do it.
We should have brought your nephew on, Reid. That would have been a great idea to bring him on just for.
Dude, I don't know what that kid's doing. He's probably skiing in the Swiss Alps right now. He lives the life.
What are they, like 2-3 hours behind us?
I think it's 2, right? Mountain time, right?
2 a mountain. The best time to watch sports.
Yeah. All right, some of the feedback here. Jalil says, was it bad to part ways with Slay, or because of Father Time, was it the right move for my Eagles?
You go first, or you go, Adrian. You go first since I'm the Lions fan and Slay played it.
I was gonna say Jaleel. I kind of expected him to do this. The writing was kind of on the wall. I think Slay kind of knew it, but I think it came down to kind of age and just they got some younger guys coming in and playing, and also the fact that they didn't really want to pay Slay as much money as
Yeah,
maybe
it was about
he would have wanted. He actually had a really good season this past year. Helped develop some of these young guys like the Cooper DeJeans. They'll probably end up drafting another guy. They have a guy Keely Ringo waiting in the rings too. So I think it was the right move for both sides. I ultimately think he's going to become a Detroit Lion and do the same thing with the Eagles. They the Lions and be a great veteran guy. Slay's still playing at a really good level, so I think it was mutual on both parts, and I think there's no bad blood between either side.
Yeah, I don't think it like as a Philly fan, you just won a Super Bowl. Like enjoy that. Don't fret about like Darius Slay, a 30-year-old cornerback, leaving your. The only thing that he probably is good for is the Tobias role in Philly for right now. He's a good vet to teach these young kids. I mean, you have Cooper, you have Quinyon Mitchell, who was unbelievable this last year. So I mean, you lost James Bradbury too. I expect them to just run fully with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and Keely Ringo, as Adrian said, as the three corner. I think. This is a complete side note, but I think that Howie Roseman planted the thing about James Pierce being a bad guy, like characteristic wise, so he could just get him later in the draft and partner him up with whoever is on that defensive line. But I mean, you have a GM that's going to figure something out, and if he wants to draft another corner, he'll draft another corner, or maybe he'll go out and get a guy like if the Chargers get rid of Asante Samuel Jr., he's a free agent this year. Maybe he wants to come to the Eagles. Like there's going to be options. Yeah. Carlton Davis is still out there. He's young. Carlton Davis is, young in the sense he's 30, or he'll be 30 in the start of the season. So, guy that we're famous with as Lions fans. I don't think losing Slay is anything you should lose sleep over by any means.
Yeah, I think it was just a money thing. They didn't want to give him the money that he wanted at his age. But there's going to be a nice market for Slay. There's going to be a bunch of teams that can use his services. So
yeah, I agree.
It's going to be where he wants to go at this point. So Adrian,
49ers starting offer for Brock Purdy contract extension is at $45 million a year. Is what it just got reported.
Who reported that?
Jason La Canfora.
$45 million for a guy who has an average arm. Are you kidding me?
To go do a Super Bowl. I mean, it pays dividends, I guess.
We're about to see when he starts losing all these pieces that they paid these guys. He's in that 12 to 15 range for me in quarterback. It's not a $45 million a year guy. But I'll leave my Brock Purdy hate for that.
And I'll say this really quickly. My sister is watching, and she said that we didn't give any love to Jimmy Horn or LeJontay Westner, who are both wide receivers on Colorado. I think Jimmy Horn could be a good slot wide receiver. I don't know much about Wester. I would have to look into him. But
LeJontay is about the same. He's got some speed to him. I think he could play. He'll be a slot special teams guy, kick return, punt return. He's got some explosion to him.
And don't they got the kid Shepard too? That's it. Eligible for draft, right?
Yeah, Will Shepard. Yep, the transfer from Vanderbilt.
Yeah. So yeah, last thing I was gonna say about Darius Slay. So Adrian, do you think Darius Slay is a Hall of Famer?
I'm gonna say no as of now. I think he's had a good career, but I don't know Hall of Fame. I think a really, really good career, but I'll say no.
Yeah. Not first ballot. I'll just say that. Not first ballot Hall of Fame. I think he could eventually get in. I would just say not first ballot Hall of Fame. I'm gonna look over his stats really quickly just so I can
pull them up for you right now.
I got him here. So he had a total of 28 interceptions as of right now in his career, 619 total tackles, 516 solos. Played 177 games. I mean, he played most of the seasons for the most part when he was here. He has 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's nothing that blows you away, but he has a Super Bowl ring now, and it's still solid numbers for a corner. 619 total tackles is pretty good for a corner. 28 interceptions. You'd probably like to see a little bit more than that. 2017, he had 8 interceptions for the Lions. I completely forgot about that. 16 total tackles and 8 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery for the Lions. 26 pass defense. He has 160 total in his career.
That's elite. That's elite.
He had 26 pass defenses in 2017. Oh,
yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Like you said, maybe not first ballot, but
I don't think first ballot, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, especially him getting that ring, I think he gets in for sure. And then if he plays another 2 years, he's only going to add his stats more. So
he's a one-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. Yeah, but them pass defenders that's an elite stat right there. I think it's a little underrated. That stat gets underrated because sometimes you can't get your hand on the interception, but you're knocking the ball down, so it tells you that you're in good position and good coverage. And his lowest PBUs he had 6 in 2020, but that obviously that year is weird because it's a COVID year, so that year is a little different for most guys. But he's had at least double digits every year except for that year in his rookie year.
The thing I'll say about Darius Slay is I'll take him on the Lions just because, again, he is he's a very nice guy from what I've seen in just videos. He likes playing the game. He likes playing the position of corner, and I'd like him just to teach like Terrion and Rakestraw on how to play corner in the league. I think Carlton Davis, obviously, you could do that with, but he's playing the whole time. I think Darius Slay would be a very good like players coach. Like you're losing a lot of corners this year. You're losing Melifonwu probably, unless they want to re-sign him and keep him at safety. You're losing Vildor. You're losing Dorsey. You're losing Carlton Davis. You're losing Emmanuel Mosley, which again, Emmanuel Mosley hasn't played in like 6 years, but those are all guys that, you lose, and I would probably replenish it with like a Darius Slay, another veteran that you can get from somewhere that would be a starter, and hopefully Terrion takes a step. But I would use Darius Slay as depth for sure. I mean, he's 34, dude. Like it's not old in real life, but as an athlete, you're pretty old. It's like dog years.
Football years for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Reid, Deebo Samuel traded from the Niners to the Commanders for a 5th round pick. How'd you like that move?
I mean, I feel like it was a fair trade. Deebo hasn't been great. I still think he's going to do good when he gets to Washington because I think that you have Jaden Daniels who can create plays. You look at guys like Olamide Zaccheaus, Jahan Dotson before he got traded. Like a few of the other guys that were there, they played well with Jaden Daniels, and Cliff Kingsbury. The offense obviously is very good. So he's just a step up from Deebo's being like, he is a step up from Olamide Zaccheaus. So Scary Terry is obviously the number 1 there, but it's a good move for Washington, I think. And you only gave up a 5th. Granted, Deebo is getting a little bit older, but he's not like, again, we said football years. He's not bad in football years. It's just, you're kind of limited in what he does now. So, I mean, you're using him as the gadget player that he is. Maybe throwing him in at running back. They're a team that, watch out. Maybe try and get Genty or Hampton or one of those guys because they need running back bad. I don't think Brian Robinson's the answer. And I don't. Austin Eckler obviously is a billion years old. So, I think it was a good move for them. A 5th round pick is. I feel like the 49ers probably should have tried for like a 4th or something. Maybe they did, but I feel like they could have maybe tried for a little bit more of a higher pick than the 5th round. But you take what you get what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think the 49ers got what they could get. Deebo's on the last year of his deal. I'm sure Washington maybe will restructure this deal or maybe tell Deebo, hey, you play great this year. We'll give you an extension. I think it was good for both parties, giving him a fresh start. I think he'll do well in this offense. I think Washington's not done that receiver. They're going to add another guy who could be on the outside, put Deebo on the slot, move him around. Jaden Daniels is going to find a way to get him the ball. I love it. I love it for Washington. That's a team the Lions need to be looking out for, especially we'll see what they do in this offseason.
That's a team the Eagles need to be looking out for now, man, honestly.
And then just with this, like we talked about earlier with the 49ers, they may try to trade Brandon Ayuk. I've heard that he's open, but who's trading for that guy? He's got a new contract. He didn't play well before he even got hurt last year. They're not going to get a lot of value for him.
Patriots have $1 billion in cap space. They have $126 million in cap space, and they need a wide receiver one. I don't love Brandon Ayuk, but they could potentially trade for him.
Yeah. That's the team I can see that turns it around next season for sure. I like Vrabel. I like May. If they have a good draft, a good free agency, they could turn it around in that division for sure. Because it's Buffalo, then it's everybody else.
And as much as I hate to say it, I feel like Buffalo's slipping now. Buffalo lost a bunch of people. They have Keon, and they just paid Khalil Shakir like $60 million for 4 years or whatever it was. Not crazy contract, but like they lost a lot of guys. They lost someone to retirement. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the Patriots. I'm with you, Raj. I think the Patriots could be a sleeper to compete in that division, especially if you help that offensive line. You get Drake May. They have so much money to spend, and they have very good draft capital. So I think if they can use that to their advantage, I think those Patriots could. The Jets are done, in my opinion. The Jets are sacrificing a year, new head coach, losing quarter. They don't have a quarterback. Who's the Dolphins are the Dolphins. We'll see what happens. They need to be healthy, but yeah, I don't know. I think the Patriots are another team that could sneaky make it out because Vrabel was great with the Titans.
Absolutely. All right, so we're seeing now with a lot of the games, a lot of the streaming companies are trying to get the rights to a lot of these games. So a lot of games you got to go on Netflix, Peacock, all these different streaming apps to watch games now. So Reid, do you think streaming is helping or hurting sports?
I don't think it was ever helping it. I think it's as we know, it's all a money grab. Everybody's trying to get their hand in the honey pot, so it sucks in that sense. But like, yeah, man, I just hate if you want to watch Michigan State basketball, I think they had probably 10 games this year that were on Peacock. Like, I couldn't watch a Michigan State. I could because I had Peacock, but like if I was just some 21-year-old Michigan State kid or 20-year-old Michigan State kid, I probably didn't have Peacock unless my parents had it, and I couldn't afford a ticket to the game or whatever. Like I had to go to a bar and watch. Like I couldn't just watch it in my dorm room if I was a college kid. You can't just turn on the TV anymore and just watch ESPN and the games on ESPN. So yeah, do I think it hurts it? Yeah, absolutely, because just everybody wants it now. We talked about it before. Netflix is talking about taking either CBS or Fox's streaming rights to the 1 p.m. or 4 p.m. games for NFL. ESPN Plus does a deal with all the hockey stuff, but the ESPN is talking about leaving hockey. I think TNT is losing basketball, or are they just losing the show, the Chuck?
Oh, they're losing the NBA.
Yeah, so they're losing NBA. Like, who's going to buy up all the NBA rights? Amazon has their Thursday night game every year for. It's just like it's so overwhelming with everything. I texted you guys yesterday to see if anybody had an HBO account because I wanted to watch one show, and it's just like if I want to I see a trailer for a show and it's interesting, I have to pay for this streaming service. And now sports are getting into it where it's like I want to watch this team play. Luckily, the Lions play on Fox, so all I have to do is have like a relative cable service or an antenna. You can still watch them on an antenna. But like, dude, this is the last thing I'll say on it because I could just go on and on about it. The streaming services play too much into we want everybody's business and we're going to have a billion different streaming services because there's always like Paramount Plus has their own thing. Like people just branch off, and even Netflix is talking about making their own sports service if they get this deal with Fox or CBS, whoever has it. So it's always going to be some sort of like offshoot that you have to go off and attack. So I hate it all. It gets me like angry, and I just get like flustered about it because I just hate like how many there are. It was supposed to be easy in the beginning. Everybody was supposed to have them, and they were supposed to be easy in the beginning. It was supposed to make it convenient. Now it's just the biggest headache of all time. That's the last thing I'll say on it. Sorry.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. Me and Raaj was kind of talking about it pre-show, just about it. I got to use his DirecTV just to watch the Pistons and the Wings and the.
That's another one, the FanDuel network.
Yeah,
I can't even watch my local 3 other sports because of it. Sorry to cut you off, Adrian, but I just can't do it because the FanDuel network. I need that.
I can't even. I could buy a league pass and still wouldn't be able to watch Pistons because it blacks it out. That's one thing the NBA needs to
YouTube
change about
TV
that.
blacked it out when the Pistons had a nationally televised game.
So it's just very frustrating. I just think it all comes down to a money grab, and teams are getting hungry, and these TV executives. It's not even the guys who actually know the sports. It's the TV executives. Leagues command so much money, and you're kind of starting to price out the regular guy. At some point, enough is enough. You know what I mean? We were okay with you doing some things, but some stuff you're just taking it too far. But it's just, once again, it comes to example in life with the characters that people get greedy, and that's what's happening in sports right now. These sports teams, these sports leagues got in bed with gambling, and that's changed a lot of it. And these leagues are generating so much money, so they don't care. They just think they can replace you easily.
Yeah, I mean they're in a bidding frenzy over these games because these games are generating so much money. So if you can get the rights and get a hold of one, it's going to bring so much revenue to your app or whatever streaming site gets that. So it's like a bidding war right now. And it's dangerous because you're gonna have to have so many different platforms: the Netflix, the Amazon Primes, the FanDuel Sports Networks, the Peacocks. Like it's crazy. The trajectory is heading is crazy.
The FanDuel Sports Network is what really gets me like annoyed, is because obviously it started out as Bally's, and you can't like it. They had Fox Sports Detroit when I first got YouTube TV, and I think it was like
that was like 2019.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2019, 2018.
I had YouTube TV when we were going to Specs.
Yes, yeah, and you and I talked about it. It was like right when we started doing this pod, and they had Fox Sports Detroit on there, and then Fox Sports Detroit got off there because they got this deal with Bally's, and then Bally's went bankrupt. And then Bally's couldn't show it. Then they sold to FanDuel, and now FanDuel doesn't show. Now you need to have the app. Like now, it's almost cheaper for me to go and like throw a $5 bet on the Pistons on the FanDuel network and see if I can watch the game on there on the app. Like I don't even know if that's a thing, but like I know sometimes you can watch the games. I just don't understand how you're just going to limit it to cable, but then you want like streaming services here and there, and it's a whole headache. And I just want to be able to watch my sports team when I watch my sports team play. I have gotten so sick and tired of American sports now that I've been a fan of Formula One for a while, but I'm really only just about to watch the Formula One season and just not any other sports from here on out, because I can at least watch that on ESPN on regular TV. Because I just can't stand having all these other sports that just don't let you watch them because of streaming services.
Yeah, these games are just generating so much money now, and we all know what comes with a lot of money is corruption. And
fortunately,
yeah.
Adrian,
are you watching this Rockets Pacers game by chance?
I am currently watching. I have the multi-view on YouTube TV. I have the Indiana Oregon game on, the SMU Syracuse game on, the Texas Mississippi State game on. I probably got a parlay going right now.
I put a bet on the Pacers Rockets, and I thought that it would be more exciting than this. And when we started this, it was in the third quarter, and Jalen Green hasn't scored since the third quarter, and Aaron Naismith hasn't taken a 3-point since the third quarter. So that bet's not going to hit because just nobody is alive in the game apparently. Great.
Yeah. So let's close it out with our UFC 313 predictions this Saturday. So co-main event, Reid, you got Justin Gaethje going against is it Faziev? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Faziev. I know this is their second fight, so how you see that one going?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Dan Hooker, which I think would have been a little bit better fight personally. Yeah. I think Dan Hooker pulled out because of injury. I think Gaethje's trying to get I don't think it's his last hurrah, but I think he's trying to work his way to his last hurrah. I think Gaethje is around 30-something now. I think he's 32, maybe 31. I think he's on his way to his last hurrah, and he lost to Max Holloway, obviously, in that one BMF match. So I think Gaethje wins in this. I don't think it goes past. I think he wins in the second round, is what I'll say.
Gaethje's 36.
Oh, he's that old. Wow. I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was like 32, 34, 36. Wow. I still think he wins, but
he'll be 37 in November.
Damn, I did not know he was 36. Oh my gosh, I thought he was a little bit younger than that.
Yeah, I like Gaethje. I like Gaethje in that one too. He the first fight they fought was pretty close the first couple rounds, and then that last round Gaethje pulled away. But I like Gaethje in that one.
I agree. I'm taking Gaethje. He's the underdog, but I'm taking Gaethje.
All right. Well, we might want to go with the other guy because normally when we pick a guy unanimously, he loses. All right, and then in the main event, Reid, you got Pereira versus, once again, am I saying this right? Ankalaev?
Ankalaev. It's hard. All those Dagestanis are hard to say. Ankalaev. It's something like along those lines. The thing that is scary about this is everybody knows that Pereira is a striker normally. But if you look at his opponent in other fights, he does not handle striking at distance all that well. Pereira is very long. He uses his leg kicks very well. If you watch fights and you see him take leg kicks, his opponent take leg kicks, he gets staggered a lot. So I'm not going to stray away from Pereira, even because I'm a huge fan of him. I know a lot of people might go towards the opponent because he's a wrestler. Pereira doesn't wrestle as much. So I can see that happening, but I think Pereira is just going to be too much like keep him at bay, a lot of defense. Don't let him wrestle you to the ground. I think you're going to see a lot of that in his corner, and I think he's going to end up what I call, if you guys watch the Khalil Roundtree fight, he enters flow state and he just looks unconscious and his punches just look so fluid. And I think he's going to do that at one point. He's going to tag him with one, enter flow state, and just destroy this guy's life, and he's going to win. I'm still not going against Pereira. I'll never go against Pereira.
Yeah, like I said, this guy is a wrestler, but Pereira has a 4-inch reach advantage on him, and as we know, like Reid said, he's a striker. I think he's going to take one of those punches. I think he knocks him out clean in the second round.
Every guy we unanimously pick ends up losing, so I'm not going to pick Pereira just on the strength of that. I'm going to go with Ankalaev just so Pereira can win it, because if we unanimously pick him, he's going to lose. We unanimously picked Strickland, he lost. We unanimously picked Adesanya, he lost. So I'm going to look out for Pereira right here and not pick him.
Raj, I love it. This is the one time I like the zig when everybody else zags. Raj,
Raj, he's good for it. Yeah. He's good for it.
Team player.
Yeah. All right. Last comment before we get up out of here. DC says, "What are you guys' opinion about the Tank fight? Was the draw a good call?"
Let me just chime in really quickly. I didn't know that it was happening, so I didn't watch it. So I don't know. You guys can just carry this segment.
I would say I'll go first. Me and Raaj kind of did talk about it pre-show, but yeah, I think it was a good call. Gervonta could have possibly lost that fight had he not took that knee. The excuses about the sweat in his eyes or the hair gel, wherever he got his hair when he got his hair done, I'm not trying to hear it, man. He's kind of been a little off the haywire lately. He was talking about something about Floyd. I think he needs to humble himself. He needs to get more focused and really pay attention to detail, because that's what the great fighters do. Yeah, I think it was a draw. They're gonna fight again, obviously, but I think it was the right call.
Yeah, that knee he took, if they would have ruled that a knockdown, I think he would have lost. But it seemed like they were just pro Tank in that fight. They didn't really want to see him lose that fight, really.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
It's the problem with boxing.
Yeah, so the draw was the right decision, though. Neither guy unanimously won the fight. Like, it was a draw. So they're going to have to run it back. And even after they run it back, I want to see Tank step his competition above the guys he's fighting. He keeps fighting a lot of these no-name guys, these guys we never heard of. I want to see him getting there with Shakur or Bud or Spence or just somebody else. He keeps fighting these guys we never heard of. So I want to see him go up in weight, and I want to see him step his level of competition up.
I want to see him fight Bud so badly. I love Bud Crawford. I want to see him fight Bud so badly, but I know I don't.
It's not going to happen.
I was going to say, it's either not going to happen or it's going to be like Wilder Fury, where it's like the beginning of the end of their career. You know what I mean? Like when Wilder and Fury fought, like everybody thought they were both still like really good, but it was like the beginning of the end of their career. Because after that, like Fury didn't. Wilder definitely didn't look good, and then Fury really didn't look good. I think that's just what it would be for Crawford and Tank. But do you? I want to ask you this really quickly. Do you think like Floyd is obviously one of the GOATs in boxing? It depends on how you look at the sport. Do you think that him being so good kind of tarnished the reputation of these guys who start becoming really good? Like Tank is undefeated, correct?
No, he's got a draw on his record too.
He's got okay, but still, like, you think these guys kind of like chase that like that record of being undefeated, and they kind of want to be a Floyd, and it tarnishes the fight almost where they don't attack as much as they should? I mean, Floyd's obviously defensive, but like, do you think that didn't really help boxing with how good Floyd was, that these guys tried too hard to be what he was?
Go ahead, Raaj.
Yeah, for sure. These guys try to keep it too perfect. A lot of the guys duck and dodge each other now. They won't give us the fights we want, and it's hurt the sport. And that's definitely started from Floyd. Guys are scared to take a loss now, which if you lose a fight, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like we look at Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, we look at all these guys as great fighters, and they got losses on their records. Muhammad Ali got his jaw broke by Ken Norton. Nobody looks at him like he's still not a great fighter. So yeah, I think the keeping your record clean thing has definitely hurt boxing for sure.
That's the one thing I think for sure is what it is like you just said, like a lot of guys duck other fights because they don't want to potentially have that scratch on their record, which is a nod to Floyd for being so good that he, has those 50 fights or whatever it was, and he's undefeated. But like now guys come in and they're ducking the main competition that don't really, that could potentially detriment that. And Floyd didn't ever really do that. He fought mainly the guys that he had to fight. Other than he fought Pacquiao every time, and Pacquiao was the main draw that he had to fight, right? I mean, he never really ducked Pacquiao.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I mean, like, these guys now are trying too hard to be perfect. That's the problem with boxing. If you give us the fights we want, people are going to be more entertained. They're going to love it. They respect you more for fighting a guy at your caliber. If you take a loss, who cares? It's not going to stop you from being debated as one of the greatest boxers, one of the best guys to put the gloves on. Who cares? Like, they care more about the quantity than the quality at this point in time, and that's hurting the sport.
Yeah, like even when Devin Haney, I know they reversed the loss, but when he lost to Ryan Garcia, that was his first loss, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 31-1. He loses one fight. Now everybody, Haney's this, he's that, he's washed. It's like he lost one fight. Like he's 31-1. Like he's still a great fighter. So it's like, it's crazy. It's
one that I always bring up because he's one of my favorite old school highlight, because I don't ever really watch new boxing. I watch a lot of older boxing. But Sugar Ray Robinson with his 174, and he has 19 losses.
Okay.
He has 100. I mean, granted, back in the day, they fought so much, but 174 wins, 19 losses, 109 knockouts. Like,
crazy.
Like you said, who cares about a loss here and there? Like, I think that Floyd thing really just kind of tarnished the whole thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, the boxing guys, they duck and dodge each other way too much. That's why I credit the UFC, man. Those guys got to get in there. They get their title shots. They fight each other.
Yeah. So you got your McGregor's losing. That's why you got your Aldo losing to McGregor. That's why you got Anderson Silva, my favorite fighter of all time. That's why you have him losing to Chris Weidman twice. Like,
yeah, there's no ducking.
Nope.
Yes, sir. All right. That's all I got. Anything else you want to add before we get up out of here?
Oh, good pod. Good pod.
All right. Well, yeah, good show for us. Well, yeah, sports update every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.